Before I jump in with the 9 guy wires, I want to preempt this with one quick note here. The 9 guy wires are meant to expand your thought pattern and your creativity when it comes to senior housing and entrepreneurship within your facility and within your community. They're not intended to replace or to ignore the traditional metrics we use, such as occupancy, our net income, using spin downs, and all of those traditional things. This is just to help you make the leap into the new decade of 2020 and to help you spark that creativity and focus to become senior living truly reimagined. So, with that being said, here are the guy wires. Just want to go through the 9 guy wires that I talked about in the press release so that you have a little bit more explanation on those. The first one is branding. And what is your brand in the marketplace? Whether you are opening up a beauty supply shop, an ice cream parlor, or you're in senior housing, your brand is critical. Your brand's made up of many things, not just the logo and your letterhead and business cards, but it's really very holistic. It's what all does the community think about you and your organization. And I'm talking not just about the general public, not just the GP, but what about your residents, your customers, your guests, and your team members? What are your team members saying about your community when they're not at work? Secondly is culture, and that ties into the branding piece. It's intertwined so closely, you really can't separate the two. What kind of culture are you creating within your organization? Actions speak louder than words. So your culture, although you can give great lip service to it, your culture is your longevity of your team members. So look at your culture. Theming. What's the theme of your community? I'm here in South Florida. You can see this beautiful landscaping behind me and the beautiful waterfalls. Clearly we're in a tropical themed area. You know, they've gone to great lengths to make sure that this property, that this particular community presents itself in true South Florida flair. So what's your theming? Costuming. We're not talking about uniforms here because there's a vast difference. You know, you don't open up a uniform catalog and have them automatically have the vibe for a South Florida property. So what kind of costuming do you have? Is it intentionally designed? Do you have systems in place for costuming, cleaning, and repairs? Is it appropriately sized for each individual, or do you have a one-size-fits-all or a small, medium, large, extra large, and those are the options? What are you putting into your costuming, and does it tie into the rest of your culture, branding, and theming? Design. We're talking everything from your landscape design to building design to the way you arrange the furniture in the lobby to simply the way the magazines are stacked on the table in the waiting room. What about your website design? We're talking about that as well. You know, what does the design look like? Does it look like it's from the 1990s? If so, you may want to do an update there. Furnishings. How is your business, how is your community furnished? Do you open up the direct supply catalog because it's easy and pick chair number 7 on page 455, which frankly is going to be a very homogeneous chair? Or do you intentionally go out and select pieces, frankly, that could be a lot cheaper, or I should say less expensive, but do you go out and intentionally pick pieces that are going to create the correct experience, theme, and atmosphere that you're going for? Pattern. What am I talking about when I'm talking about pattern? What I'm talking about is the scripting. Do your folks know exactly what they can say, what they should say, and how they should respond to various situations? Do they role play it? And I'm not talking about just during orientation. Do they role play it frequently? And then that leads into the next thing of training. How do you train your team members? How do you train your staff? Is it a one-time shot? Do you think you can train your folks one time on customer service and it's going to make an impact on your business, your community? It absolutely will not. You'll have a very short-term impact, if any. So it's a continuous process where we are constantly setting the standard, constantly reminding people and then rewarding them, giving them that positive reinforcement when we catch them doing something right. By the way, training means nothing unless you do post-testing or role-playing to ensure that learning took place. So guys, those are the 9 guy wires. I hope that's helpful to you. And if you haven't signed up for our free tips, I hope you'll do so. And if you have, please refer a friend.